Welcome back to Our Community. Susie Thomas having a visit with Sherry Smith from the Stark County Department of Health. And what got you interested in this field in the first place, Sherry?
Well, when I was young, I lived with my great-grandmother who had several strokes. And I actually started out originally in physical therapy and decided that physical therapy wasn't so much for me because it didn't reach all the aspects of health education that I was looking for, and also the caring and the assessment parts of nursing. And so I had a friend that actually was in nursing school, and I decided to shadow her for a little while, and then I went into nursing school at Malone. And public health was one of my favorite rotations during that. It was funny because I actually liked psych nursing and critical care nursing and public health community nursing. Those were all my favorites, and they're all very opposites. And I just ended up in public health.
Yeah. And public health is kind of a unique thing in its own right. Tell us about how that is a little bit different than other areas.
Well, in other areas, usually you're focusing on individual care, individual assessment, individual education, keeping the individual healthy, getting them home if they're in a hospital or a rehab facility. With public health, our main concern is the health of the public or the community or population health. So while we still do individual care, the point of the individual care is not only to get that person healthy, but make sure that they get healthy so they don't spread their illness onto others.
I think one thing that we forget when we're talking about health, I think we all internalize and think, my health. We almost have that unstated my in front of it, but my health. But we forget that how much our health affects the health of those around us.
That's very, very true. That's very, very true. And I think every day we need to be reminded of our own health habits. Establishing good health habits now can help keep you and your body safe and fight off flu and other illnesses that we've been talking about today. You should eat a balanced diet, including plenty of vegetables, fruits, and whole grain products. At the health department, we do have dietitians on staff, and we do have WIC clinic, women, infants, and children, to give a lot of nutrition and diet education to pregnant mothers, postpartum mothers, and infants and children. Like we said earlier, you should also drink plenty of water, exercise regularly, and we say to aim for 20 minutes of exercise or more every day. If you devote 20 minutes at least every day, at least you're getting some exercise in. Get plenty of rest. Sleep is shown to help your body fight off illness, so maybe set a sleep routine. And we said earlier, but I'm going to say it again, try not to touch your eyes, nose, or mouth. Germs are often spread this way. And stay away from people who are sick as much as you can. We also talked about that. And if you get sick, stay home from work, stay home from school, keep your sick children home from school or childcare so that we don't spread it and make the population, the community, and all of our friends and relatives sick as well. Sleep hygiene, you should try to set a ritual, a warm bath at night if you have trouble going to sleep. I know some people, they just can't turn their day off. And things keep going through their mind at night when they go to lay down. So I like to say, think of it, you set an alarm to get up in the morning. Set yourself an alarm to go to bed. Pick a time. Pick 9:30 or 10 o'clock or whatever time works for you to set an alarm. And that's just to bring your body back, cut off like your cell phones, your social media, your news watching or listening or whatever you're doing at that time so that you can set a time to go to bed. And then make sure your bedroom is quiet and dark and a relaxing environment. And then if you have something you like to listen to go to sleep, whether it be an audiobook or even a television program that's not too
stimulating,
yes, set a sleep timer.
Okay.
As far as that goes, set a sleep timer for 30 minutes, and hopefully by the time your sleep timer goes off, you have already fallen asleep.
Right. I highly recommend not listening to news. That really does kind of get everyone's blood pressure a little hard to go to sleep with that. What about things
Sometimes.
like lavender, squirting your pillow with a little lavender? I've heard that helps. Does that?
I have heard that helps as well. Or a lavender, like Epsom salt, warm soak in the bath.
Okay, so, but do you recommend that you sleep the same hours every night?
If you can, yes.
Why is that better?
It's just getting your body into a routine. So your body knows it's time to shut itself off and to rest. And that's why I like to say it's actually just as important to set your alarm in the morning as it is to set your alarm at night. So your body knows, oh, that's my alarm. It's time to slow down and get some rest.
That is so smart. Well, our smartphones now, everything's hooked up, with the little wrist thing you wear and all that, and tells you how well you're sleeping. And we should use this information it's everything our mother told us, isn't it?
It is.
Pretty much.
It is.
You need to get a good night's sleep.
Yes.
How many hours do we really need?
Well, it depends on the person, but I would say at least a minimum of 7 hours. On average, they usually say to try to get 8.
Can you get too much?
I don't know about that.
I'd love to try.
Sometimes I think if you're sleeping too much, it's because your body may need it, or because there's something going on in your body that needs to be addressed. So if you're sleeping 12, 14 hours a day, it could be because you need to go and get established with a primary healthcare provider and see why you're sleeping that long. It could be some chronic disease or some health concern that you have going on in your body that makes you do so.
Teenagers seem to require a ton of sleep during that little phase of life. They're almost like reverting back to their baby days when they needed like 12 hours of sleep. Is that something going on in their bodies at the time, or are they just trying to get out of chores?
No, I don't think they're trying to get out of chores. They have several stimulating things going on throughout their day.
Yes.
Not to mention, they also have a lot of hormones that are going to play in their teenage years, so they actually do need more sleep than we need as adults.
Good to know. Yeah. What about stress? What part does stress play in our health in general?
Stress is not very good for our health. Not at all. So if you can figure out what is causing your stress and try to remove that, the cause of it, that would be the best for you. Also try maybe meditation, yoga, deep breathing exercises. And along with exercising and having a healthy, well-balanced diet, that may also help your stress levels.
I've heard exercise, too, is very good to help battle stress.
Absolutely, yes.
So there are ways to control it, even if that stress factor is not removable. There's ways to not allow it affect our health. Pretty hard to just say, oh, relax.
Yeah, it's hard. I guess what you can do is just try to have healthy habits that counteract stress.
Great. Yeah. Let's get back to exercise. 20 minutes a day doing something. Does it matter what?
Not necessarily. Even 20 minutes a day of walking is great. 20 minutes marching up and down in place, stepping in place.
Sometimes there's almost involuntary exercise taking place where you're playing with your kids. I remember I dropped out of aerobics classes when my children were like new and 2, and didn't really get back into it, and maybe they were about 2 and 4, something like that. And a couple of years there, I thought, I'm going to be so out of shape by the time I get back. But didn't even notice a difference when I went back to aerobics class and was able to get right back into it. Not because I was just all in great shape, but because I think chasing kids around was a lot of exercise, even though I didn't feel like I was getting exercise.
Well, that can be a lot of exercise. But for a lot of us, especially as the kids get older, I think if we put that in our mindset that I'm getting a lot of exercise running around the workplace. I'm getting a lot of exercise shopping because I'm running around the mall or whatever. Then we miss the point of setting aside 20 minutes each day for actual exercise that we can count as voluntary exercise.
Okay. So do it intentionally.
I think so, yes.
But how about skipping the elevator and taking steps, or parking further away from the door at the mall?
Those are all great healthy habits to do, yes.
But also exercise.
Yes.
Do those too.
Yes. And when you're parking away from the mall, then there's other things to think about, safety and things. So if you're going to do those things, just make sure, even if you're going to skip the elevator and walk the stairs, make sure it's stairs in a safe environment so you're not putting yourself at harm.
All right, I want to peel back food a little bit more with you.
Okay.
These days, I know I've heard that the food we eat is different than the food 20, 50 years ago because they use GMOs and all kinds of things to enhance our food and to grow enough to feed all of us. How do we, it seems more people are going gluten-free and sugar-free. Doing anything free scares me unless you absolutely have a diagnosis that you need to go something free. Or am I totally off base here? How do we eat healthy, Sherry? Boils down to that question.
Well, the main thing about eating healthy is to eat a variety of foods, multicolored.
Rainbow? So, eat a rainbow?
Yes, eat a rainbow. Fruits and vegetables.
Okay.
If you get protein in there, that's fabulous too. I would try for, the fish and the turkey and the chicken.
Rather than red meat?
Red meat. Light on the red meat.
Why is that?
They just say because red meat is linked to obesity and fat and cardiovascular issues.
Except bacon, right? Bacon's always good, yes?
Well, it depends. It depends if you're on a diet that requires bacon. There's the diets that require the fat, the keto diets and all that stuff.
Right.
But I would say consult a dietitian or consult a doctor or a nurse practitioner or another healthcare provider before you go on any diets. But the most important thing is on a daily basis, just try to eat a rainbow, like you said, and eat in moderation. Just because we have a big plate doesn't mean we need to fill it all and pile it all up. The plates are supposed to be, if you can draw a Y on the middle of your plates, and everything should not be touching, and you should not pile anything on top of something else, because that's how we end up eating more than we need to.
I know,
and
when
you're full, you're full.
And
don't keep eating.
I know a man who lost 100 pounds by decreasing the size of his dinner plate. He started using his salad plate instead.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
did that at every meal. And that's all he did. Amazing.
Yes.
Well, I'd love to go into more about keto with you. You said it first, but we're just going to have you back because I knew our time would fly by. Where do we go for more information about our health, Sherry?
You can visit the health department's website at www.starkhealth.org. You can also go to the CDC's website at cdc.gov and the Ohio Department of Health. If you go to Google and type in Ohio Department of Health, there's a lot of good information on there as well. You can also call the Stark County Health Department and ask to speak with a nurse or a dietitian, and we would be more than happy to help you as well. And our phone number is 330-493-9928.
Sherry Smith, Stark County Health Department, thank you so much for all you do in our community.
Thank you.